Hi everyone, thanks for joining us on podcast number 4 of the DXB podcast. We're recording this Sunday night, the 25th of May. There's 5 of us here tonight. I am your host, Chanogram, real name Channing, and we also have, I'll let them introduce themselves. You guys can go ahead. No order, just go ahead and start talking.
Average guy. Hello.
Landshark, I'm here, aka Scott. Someone else go.
This is Carnal, aka Dominic.
And I'm Michael, aka MWJW.
Oh, no one's afraid to talk when we're actually talking about other stuff, but no one wants to introduce themselves apparently.
Next time, make an order.
All right.
Cabin. Anonymous.
Yeah, Cabin's not going to be here today. He has other stuff going on. He clearly does not care about us or this podcast. So he might hopefully be here next time, and we'll make him explain his absences. Hold him accountable. So lots of stuff going on this week. Nothing enormous like last week with a couple of the bigger announcements from Microsoft this week. Lots of stuff, lots of smaller stuff with a few things that, depending on what you want to do with your Xbox, are a little bigger. So before we get into that, I do want to talk a little bit about specifically next week's podcast and possibly the week after. We haven't finalized everything yet. Next week we are going to do sort of a pre-E3 roundup, if you want to call it. We'll go over some of the more believable rumors. By that time, I'm sure there'll be a ton of rumors at that point. There'll also be our predictions, or things we'd hope to see or want to see, even if maybe we'll each give one real prediction and one, one unbelievable prediction, but one we'd really love to see. So that'll be kind of interesting to see what everyone wants to come out and what we think is going to happen. But yeah, we'll break down some of the E3 stuff prior to E3, and then the following week we're going to do the podcast on Monday, possibly broken up into 2 pieces with the second piece on Tuesday, depending on everyone's schedule, because the press conferences are going on all day, with Sony's later in the evening. I can't remember. Do you remember the exact time for Sony's?
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock Eastern.
Okay.
Is Sony's.
Yep,
PM.
so,
PM.
Yeah, PM Eastern. Yeah. If you want the full day, it's 12:30 for Microsoft, 3 o'clock for EA, 6 o'clock for Ubisoft, and 9 o'clock for Sony, and those are all Eastern.
Yeah, and then Nintendo's the next day, right?
Nintendo's the next morning at 9 a.m. Yep.
So, because of the way they're doing it, and because Sony always does theirs late, we may not be able to squeeze it all in that night. And thanks to the constant stream of them throughout the day, we are not sure if we'll be able to fit one in earlier in the day either to break it up. So we might have to do 2 podcasts. We'll figure that out as we get closer here. But either way, we'll give you coverage on all. We'll give you our thoughts and break it down for you on all the different press conferences. So
That'll be June 9th or June 10th.
Yeah, well, yeah, if we do one June 9th, we'll post what we have June 9th, and then we'll post maybe a secondary or part 2 on June 10th if we have to. So
cool.
Yep, yeah, and June 9th, which is a Monday, I believe. I hope that's a Monday, because that's the day I took off.
Yes, it is.
Or I just took the wrong day off. So that'll be the next couple podcasts. So they'll be fairly long podcasts, most likely, but hopefully lots of good content, especially the one right after E3. I'm hoping that's going to be, you can just hear us geek out. That'll be a good one. So we'll go to what we're playing.
There may be tears.
Well, tears of joy and probably tears of
There may be
sadness.
blood.
So what we're playing,
God.
I've only really been playing one game this week. I'm going to save that one because it's a new game, and I want to let everyone else talk about other stuff first, and then we'll come back to it, which is Wolfenstein. So, Carnal, when you get there, just kind of skip over that one as well. Then we'll bring it up as kind of a separate piece right after. So we'll go average first.
This week, I played Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes again. I played a little Vagrant Story on PlayStation. Got some double XP in Battlefield. Couple of rounds of Titanfall. I think that's it. Little Tales of Xillia 2, PS3.
Okay.
You're a mixed bag, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I am a mutt when it comes to games. I am not ashamed to admit it.
we need people like that, so.
Yeah.
All right. Anything specifically out of those you want to talk about, or is that pretty much it?
No, it's I'm having Metal Gear kind of withdrawal, so I go back and I play it every now and then.
Yeah.
And then I'm having JRPG withdrawal, like massively. So Tales of Xillia is doing it until Tales of Xillia 2 comes out, until they announce something, new. I do need to go back and play Child of Light some more, but I can't find 2 hours to dedicate to it, and I don't want to play it for 15 minutes. So maybe I'll play it tomorrow. Who knows?
There you go. All right. Let's go on to Landshark.
Well, I was on vacation last weekend and got back just in time to go to work, so I haven't played a whole lot of games. But I'm pushing hard to finish up Child of Light, and I believe I'm very, very close to finishing that now to get ready for WatchDogs. I also played a bit of Powerstar Golf, which we'll talk about later in this podcast. And let's see, what else did I do? Last night I got some time. Today is my first day off for the weekend, so last night I played some games. I played War Thunder on the PC, and they have the new tank. It's kind of like World of Warplanes, but they have a new tank side of it, which is kind of like World of Tanks, and it's pretty awesome. Actually, I played for an hour of that last night. And lastly, I'm super hyped for WildStar, which releases the early release on Saturday this coming weekend.
Me too.
So-
once I get my computer built.
So I don't know. I haven't played a lot of games honestly because I've literally been working or on vacation. So, but yeah, that's about it for me.
I guess
I got a quick
I'll go.
question. How
Go ahead.
did you compare the two tank games? You said you played them both, right?
Oh yeah, I played tons and tons of World of Tanks. Last night was my first time playing the War Thunder tank side of it. I like the
Right.
War Thunder way better, honestly. It's I don't know what it is. It's just much more realistic to me. Even from the arcade, they have different game modes you can choose. Even the arcade mode is just really, really nicely done.
Okay.
I think it's the hit detection and stuff like the penetration in the tanks and stuff. It's much more realistic in the War Thunder version of it.
Just wanted to know. I hadn't seen two people compare them yet.
Yeah, they're both good. I just like War Thunder a little better.
Oh, gotcha.
I guess I'll go. I've been trying to beat Dragon Age 2, which I'm right at the end, and I'll be getting all the achievements, so hopefully tonight I'll have the main game beat. Then I'll wrap up a few achievements, but other than that, I've been playing Wolfenstein, but we'll get to that after MW is done. Go ahead.
Well, I've really mostly been enjoying my outdoors. It's been real nice here where I live, so been working on the yard, building fires, burning things. It's been a great time. Not a lot of games. Tried out the new Powerstar. Actually bought one of the maps for it, not the full game, just one. And then played a couple games on the phone, but nothing, real major. Went back and played a little Battlefield, Still not fully impressed with the game yet. It still needs a couple more patches to really get going. And, played a little Forza whenever I wanted to crank up some really good music and then just race into things. That's been all I've been doing.
All right. That's everyone, right?
Uh-huh.
All right. So we'll talk about Wolfenstein a little bit. We won't talk too much since three of the people here haven't actually played it. hopefully you've seen enough videos and read enough about it to contribute a little bit. So I've played and beaten it. Carnal has at least played
I've done
it.
the first couple levels.
Yep, and Cabin, who couldn't make it, has, I think, beaten it, or at least is on the last level. I can't remember if he was able to finish it after his weird issue that he had with it. I think it's getting scores that right about where I would put it. I think the Metacritic average right now is 78, if I remember correctly. It's deservedly a 78. I said anywhere from 75 to 80 is a realistic score for this game. It's not perfect. It's not, the best shooter I've ever played, but considering it's based on, Wolfenstein, which is not a really good story-driven game, it actually is much more than I thought it was going to be. I don't know if Carnal could speak to that either, but it's much more story-focused than I would have ever guessed. Even reading, people saying it was story-focused, I still didn't believe it until I started playing it and realized that, they do focus on story. So, yeah, I don't know. Overall, I'm enjoying it. I might go back and play another playthrough with the other storyline, but we'll see.
To me, it's really good. Like I said, I only played the first couple levels. I do like the stealth element mixed with the onslaught element. I mean, you can play how you want to play, really. But the game's pretty fun. I mean, the story is really good, which is very surprising considering, in my opinion, the ones for 360 were a train wreck. But what I've played so far, I really enjoyed. It's not the prettiest game in the world, so don't go into it expecting wow graphics. But for what it is, it's not just a shooter. It's a good story-driven shooter, and I haven't played one of those in a very long time. So,
it is very smooth, by the way. I will say that. Graphically, it's not mind-blowing, but the graphics are very smooth. I mean, you can.
Yeah.
There's not. I don't think I've experienced any slowdown that I can remember anyway. Even with all the crazy action explosions, it's been pretty solid. So.
Well, I think according to Eurogamer, both games on Xbox One and PS4 run at 60 and don't drop frames nearly at all. So.
Yep. So it's worth buying. I don't like rating games. I just kind of say, is it worth $60, or is it, at what price point is it worth it? This is one that I could easily justify. I spent $60 on it, but I have no issue spending $60 on that game. It was fun, even though it's only single player. So keep that in mind.
Didn't it come with a copy of the original Wolfenstein, like as a hidden thing?
No, we're not going to spoil that.
It's an Easter egg.
Yeah. It's an Easter egg. We're not going to spoil that, though, because we don't want to.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't
have the game. I just saw it online.
Yeah, I don't believe it's the full game.
It did come with a Doom beta or something.
Yep, you do get a Doom beta.
It comes with the Doom beta, yeah, which I still have to register.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, me too.
Not a problem. If you guys do care about ratings, for those that are listening that might, PC 81, Xbox One 79, PlayStation 4 78. There you go.
Yeah, I think it's stupid they break them apart, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I miss the days when it was just one
people
game.
only get certain copies of the game, and they only feel comfortable giving that particular rating to that particular system because they didn't have the other system to play it on to judge it against. I think that's pretty fair considering, and the scores are really close and similar to each other, so I don't have a problem as long as the scores are really close.
Yeah, my issue is that PS4 and Xbox One in this case are almost identical, and there's only, I think last I checked, there was like 12 or 13 Xbox One reviews up there on Metacritic, but there was like 25 PS4s, and it's like, okay, there's really no difference between these copies. They can easily be flip-flopped and applied to both in this case. So, anyways.
This actually brings up a strange topic that we haven't discussed before, is the audience on the Xbox is pretty different than the audience on the PS4. So it could be like just maybe the people on one side are more critical than the other. I don't know. Or less critical.
I've noticed usually it's up to the reviewers themselves. Most sites, they'll judge particular games low. Maybe their particular reviewers just are a little harsher, but it's all up to personal preference, and that's why you judge a game by yourself, not by the score that it got.
Alright, moving on So if more people get Wolfenstein, we'll bring it up next week again if we have time. I don't know if anyone else is planning on getting it or not, but
depends on how
It's
good
definitely worth
WatchDogs does. If it bombs in the reviews and I don't like what I see, I'm gonna go get Wolfenstein instead. And I'll eventually get it when it's cheaper anyway. I like Wolfenstein games. It was the literal first PC game I've played, if you don't count the Apple.
yeah. Alright. Well, let's go on to some quick news items that we're not going to spend too much time on. So, a somewhat non-game related one, but techie thing that I'd like to bring up is the Surface Pro 3 was announced last week. It looks awesome. I have a tablet that's kind of the equivalent to the Pro 2, but not Microsoft's branded one. I love it. The Surface Pro 3, a little bit bigger screen. I think it's 12 inches, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it comes in variations of i3, i5, and i7 processors with, the price to match it. I think they start at $799. Is that right? I think 800 was the cheapest one, if I remember correctly. So they're not cheap.
Yep.
They don't come with the keyboard, so you have to buy that. But for what you get, I mean, you basically get a PC in a tablet form. It really is pretty sweet.
I mean, you get an i5 PC in a very portable form. That's awesome.
They boosted battery life by, I can't remember what the 15 to 20% or even more than that. Maybe that's low end. I can't remember exactly what it was, but overall it looks good. I think it looks a little nicer than the other ones for some reason. Just a little bit of design change to it, but same awesome screen. But something to give thought to if you're in the market for a new laptop is to look at some of these tablets that are coming out, including the Pro 2 and 3, just because they're pretty nice.
Yeah, I've got the 2. The 2's actually really, really nice to have. So.
What is that noise?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Someone's
Is that what
bird?
it is?
Yes, my dog in the background's going crazy on his dog toy.
Oh, that's what it is.
Oh,
I could have thought it was
gotcha.
birds.
It's like someone murdering birds.
Average.
Alright. So next little bit, I don't know if we didn't really talk about this beforehand, but according to something that someone dug up, Microsoft filed for the Phantom Dust copyright in Europe. Could mean nothing, could mean something. We really have no idea. But the timing of it's kind of interesting, just because with all the new stuff that Microsoft's been showing off, it's interesting to see that just kind of pop up out of nowhere. It could just be they're re-upping their presence with it, just because I think they own the rights to it, if I remember correctly, Phantom Dust.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that, but I don't know if you can copyright something you don't have the rights to. But
it was talked about a couple months ago when they were really grilling Phil about games and first party and stuff and asking about old stuff. He brought it up as one of his favorite titles. So with them copyrighting it, that's kind of why it made news again, because he had actually mentioned it a couple months ago. So I think I saw somewhere else where someone took the footage from Build, what is that? The cloud rendering, the destruction that they were doing with the cloud, and they compared it to one of the scenes, because Phantom Dust was one of the few games on the Xbox that had a destructible environment, so to speak. And they kind of compared or contrasted some of the stuff that was going on in Phantom Dust with that, and they kind of got an idea that maybe, because remember, Phil did say that was not throwaway footage that they showed, that was actually work in progress footage. So people are trying to connect dots that way. So we'll see. I mean, we got 14 days, if anyone's counting, like I am. 14 days.
You're counting by the second average. You're like staring at the clock at work. You're like, come on, you bastard. Come on.
Pretty much.
For those listening, the comparison videos are in the forum thread for Phantom Dust right now.
Yeah, I think was that you that put him in there, or someone put him in there? Yeah. So either way, it was a cool game for the Xbox that hardly anyone played. because not many people had an Xbox the first gen, just because it came out so much later than everything else. But
I've never heard of it, so.
yeah, it was a very
Looks
cool
awesome.
game. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it looks
fun.
cool. I was watching the videos.
So other news, game related. This one isn't a rumor. This one's fact now. Although it was fact before, but now it's officially there, and we know what it's called and what its price is going to be. Metro Redux. So they haven't given us a release date yet, but it is coming this year, according to them. It's going to be downloadable either separate with 2033 Redux, which is the first one, and the Last Light Redux, both for $25 each, or if you want to buy it retail on disc, you can buy the full package with both for $50. So it does include all of the DLCs, I believe, for both. Yeah, they're kind of calling it like the true director's cut, basically, is kind of what they're insinuating by that. But if you haven't played either of the Metro games or haven't played one of them, I have not played much of Last Light, so I can't speak to that, but 2033 was one of my favorite games on the 360.
Yeah, coming from a guy who I don't beat games pretty much never, I did beat Metro 2033, and I recommend playing that.
I will
like-
play the Metro games once they come out. I've never played them before. I really have no interest, but the upgrade looks pretty good.
If you like
I ended up-
2033, sorry, you
No, go
will
ahead.
love Metro Last Light. Like,
Yeah, I fully plan on
yeah.
buying Last Light.
it's
I'm also a huge fan of
great
Stalker, so-
game. Yeah, it's so great.
I would
man.
love to see a Stalker. Yeah.
I tried to play Stalker, and if anyone doesn't know, this developer, if you're a fan of Stalker, is sort of an offshoot of that development team, if I remember correctly. Not everyone, but it's a couple people who left that studio who did Stalker formed 4A Studios, I think they're called. Some of the lead techs, actually, I think, who wrote a lot of the code, because Stalker at the time was considered one of the better looking games, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Sure.
that was one of their claims to fame when they made this. And Metro 2033 was amazing looking on Xbox 360. It was, it was one of the better ones, I thought. So.
And it's going to get better, apparently. So.
Yep. Yeah, they're redoing them. Got to bring it up, but 1080p on PS4, 900p on Xbox One. Will it really matter in the end? I don't know.
I
Nope.
don't know, ask Rise.
Probably not. Yeah.
Um,
I'm not too worried
no,
about it.
no.
Has it ever mattered before?
It will
Nope.
matter because when you pause your game and you're sitting there looking at that screen and nothing's moving, it makes all the difference in the world.
And sarcasm. All right.
And sarcasm.
And scene.
Yep. So yeah, we're not going to get into that whole debate. That's a debate that none of us want to have anymore. We're sick of it. So
Never.
they'll both look amazing. It's upgraded graphics to an already very good looking game. If you pop in 2033 or Last Light in your 360, it's going to look great. So I'm really curious to see how much better it'll look on the new hardware for both the PS4 and the Xbox. So
Oh, yeah.
not much else to
I
say.
bought,
Go
I
ahead.
bought Last Light and loved the hell out of it. The controls are definitely PC-centric, but it's still a fantastic game, and it's not even about the graphics. It's about the atmosphere. You walk past people and they're having conversations. You walk, through this desecrated little town village, and they're having their lives, and you can just stand there and just listen. Or move along and do your objective, and taking in whatever you want.
Yeah.
They build great little environments.
Yep, it's a believable world. Believable world.
Believable.
Right,
You believe
exactly.
No, I'm
Believer.
not. Thanks.
it.
So,
Now you're gonna make some little girl cut herself. Quit.
all right. So this thing isn't not really news, but I thought it was entertaining. Not to pick on other forums, but NeoGAF.
You will.
Yeah, we will, because we don't. Okay, I personally don't care for
We don't
NeoGAF,
destroy
and
it here.
I picked the topic, so I'm putting it in regardless. NeoGAF
Guys,
wasn't.
I love
yeah,
NeoGAF.
was not allowed in E3 as a press, a media outlet. So basically, I don't have the wording in front of me, but basically they denied them, and I guess in the past they were able to go, but according to this year, they said you guys don't qualify as a media outlet, or a media news outlet, which makes sense, they're a forum. they have their insiders, whatever, but they're not a news site. It's a forum to discuss
They
news.
don't produce anything.
Yeah, exactly. They're just like
And let's
us.
Neckbeards in their basement are not insiders.
And let's not forget Microsoft inviting them, and they turned it down because of neutrality.
Yeah.
You can't see the finger quotes, but I'm doing them.
They're implied.
Mm-hmm.
They're implied.
So I thought that was kind of funny. I read bits and pieces of that thread over there, and people were like up in arms about it. And I thought it was great. So if you want some hilarious reading, go ahead and hop over there and find it.
Yeah, I could make it turns into a. It's pretty funny. The thread they have over there is pretty hilarious. How they react to that.
Yeah. All right, MW, go ahead and start on the order you wanted to talk about that new short little Twitch clip that was released. So go ahead and talk about that.
2 seconds. Alright. So, yeah, my headset came in and just plugged it in. So, the Order 1886 was shown, two, 3 days ago.
You can go onto that site.
They showed a little bit of a Twitch clip, and they were hyping it up to
Give me 1 second, I'll set it up.
Nice announcement. And it turned out being a 2.5, 3 minute clip. Twitch style graphics, nothing. You really couldn't see a lot of detail. You couldn't really make out a ton of the game. It did look improved from what we'd seen before, what others have seen, but it wasn't that giant leap, and it definitely was a downgrade from the preview footage they've shown at E3, which no one expected them to actually probably hit in realistic terms, but hey. Now, it sparked a little controversy online, and I got a quote for you from the CTO at Ready at Dawn. An important clarification. I didn't write here because I want to interface with the discussion or influence the general opinion or even less intimidate anyone. If anyone thinks our game is shit, it's very fine with me. Of course, I'd prefer a different opinion, and I'm sorry that we failed to attract a possible user, but for sure, I'm not hurt or angry. An opinion is an opinion, and we're talking about entertainment here, not a matter of life or death. We do our best, and we like to do things a whole lot of people will like, but it's stupid to think that everybody will like them. Even more so today, given the costs and the lower development chances, it's important to create projects with a lot of personality and polarizing choices. Some will like those choices, some will be indifferent, and some will hate them, and that's fine. So he has gotten a lot of backlash. I'm sure a lot of them have. Some people really liked the game. Some people didn't like what they saw or thought it was way too short of a teaser. I mean, 2.5, 3 minutes is a game trailer, and some people didn't understand why it was on Twitch. Why didn't they just release a high-definition version of a trailer, and then everybody else could take it and post it wherever they wanted instead of having to capture a laggy, glitchy, slightly fuzzy video from Twitch. So they promise later on they'll be releasing a higher res version, direct capture or something that we can see later, but no one really understands why that wasn't done in the first place, or at least right beside it.
I can tell you. Because Sony put an embargo on the previews for the game, and they don't lift until Tuesday at 6 a.m.
That doesn't explain
That's
why
why.
the developer would choose Twitch, though. I mean, that wasn't someone doing it. That was the developer themselves doing a Twitch stream. Right? Yeah, so as far as your assessment of that Twitch stream, I don't understand why the developer themselves would do it. It doesn't make any sense. And it was a developer, right? Is that correct? Am I
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to double check it.
It may have been the only way that they could release the video by doing a live stream. Like it's weird sometimes when it comes to releasing stuff before, especially if it's a preview build, because they kind of did the same thing last time and you saw the reaction. Most people were like, "What is this?" Like I remember one reviewer saying, "If this was the best 10 minutes of the game that you could show me, then you shouldn't have showed it to me." Basically, the last time they did it. So maybe they were trying to do it this way so that they could use the Twitch excuse, like, "Oh, it was, it's the compression, or it was the streaming, or it's a convenient excuse to use to say that things look downgraded because we're live streaming it, and then come out with a higher quality version of it after you've doctored it over the weekend or something." Could be a case. I'm not saying that they would do that, but who knows? But you do have control of your content a little bit better on Twitch as opposed to sending it out to a bunch of other people and saying, "Here, this is the footage." Because, Digital Foundry will do whatever they do to it, and you get like 9 different versions of the same video for whatever reason. So maybe they did it that way for that.
I thought it looked a lot better than what MW thought, but it all comes down to what personal opinion. So I thought it looked pretty cool as far as the graphics look anyway. The gunplay still seems a little clunky to me, but I don't know. It looks cool. It's got potential. So
it's got Gears of War written all over it as far as gunplay goes, I think.
Yeah, the difference is the enemies freaking stand there while you shoot at them.
Yeah,
Gears, they don't do that.
Yeah. That's all I can think about when watching the videos is keep coming back on the ledge, getting shot, back on the ledge, shot, back on the ledge, shot, like 5 or 6 times in a row.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, it's kind of boring.
They might have borrowed the AI from The Last of Us.
Or any Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
No, they didn't chuck 30 grenades at him, so it's not Call of Duty.
Alright. Anyone else have anything to say about that before we can move on to something we all care about more, probably?
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I will say, hopefully at E3, it has a better presence. Somebody will play it for more than 20 or 30 seconds at a time, and we can get an idea of what the game really is. Because right now it looks like a bunch of confined spaces and ducking in and out of cover, stopping for 10 minutes and talking, and then going into another confined space. And, so hopefully it's more than that, and we can see that at E3. Because I would like to buy it. I would like to buy a PS4 and play it, but not in its current condition. It's not worth it. I can go play Ghost Recon if I want a good third-person shooter with cover. I mean, graphics don't do it for me.
Alright.
So that was it for our quick ones. So our first bigger news topic or discussion topic is the June update. If you're in the preview program, which I believe all of us here are, any listeners or people from the forum that are in there, you should be getting it. Either you already have it or you should get it the next day or two. It's version 14.06, if I remember correctly, so you can check to see if you have it. This one, I believe, has the hard drive in it now. I think that was the first wave, which means now you can use your external HDD, and you don't have any limitations really, other than 16 terabytes total. I think they said you can use 2 drives. Is that correct? Total?
Yeah, 16 terabytes per drive, so you can do a total of 32 terabytes. Yep.
If you somehow can finagle a 16 terabyte hard drive. The limit's not an issue. USB 3, I think, is really the only requirement. It doesn't have to be 7200 RPM, I don't think. Just any, because most externals are 5400, I believe. So.
Yep, and a minimum of 256 gigabytes. I'm sorry.
Yep.
That's the only other limitation. But actually, I saw someone has AMT actually has a RAID set up that he's using. I think he's testing it out to see if he can get quicker load times and things like that. So
publish and see if that works right. So HDD, I was hoping to have one tonight to test it out and talk more about, but it didn't happen because it's Sunday and nothing's open late enough for when I actually got the update. So we'll bring it up next week, make sure everything works good the way we want it to work, if there's any gotchas or anything. But it's there if you have the preview, so if you want to go try it, let us know in the forums how it works for you. Another big one that some people want is the real name functionality is now there. You can have it show your real name in addition to your gamer tag, and you can choose who you want to see that. You can do it by like a person-to-person basis. You can set it to all friends. It gives you quite a bit of control over that, or who can see it. I know lots of people don't want it and won't use it. I think Average is probably one of them. Right?
Well, my name is
Me too.
It's Average Gamer Guy.
Yep. So, if you have a ton of friends and you have a lot of people that I could see where it could be really handy. Where if I can't remember who this person is because they've changed their gamer tag so many times, I haven't played with them in the last 6 months. Well, now if they've shared it, now you can be like, oh, that's that guy. Okay, perfect. I know who it is now. There's people on my friends list I couldn't frickin' begin to tell you who they are anymore because they've changed their gamer tags and I don't remember playing with them.
Yep.
So it could come in handy. I'll probably share it with friends to a certain degree. I haven't decided how I'm gonna do that yet. So
I think
it'd be cool if you could make.
I think every one of you guys know mine now.
yeah.
I would recommend. It'd be cool if you could set nicknames for people in your friends list, like you can do on Skype, for instance.
That would be cool.
So that way,
I
it's
want
up
to be
to
able
you.
to put in. I want to be able to put in descriptions or like something about short, kind of like a tweet, like 144 character limit. But you could write, I met this person on this day, playing this game. I don't like them very much, but they added me, so I was nice and added them back.
Oh, that's what mine would say about you.
Hey, yo.
No, they might. I know people have requested that functionality for a while, so we'll see if they put that in at some point.
I'm sure that's something a lot more
I think
complex, though.
The real name thing I think is going to help people because I think they want it to be searchable. So if you don't know someone's gamer tag but you know their real name, you can now potentially search by their real name and try to find them and add them that way, which is really handy for people who have retarded gamer tags and are impossible to, unless you literally have it written down. Is that an L or is that a freaking 1? What is that? Or is that in Mortimus' case?
Darn
is
it,
that an
Mortimus.
O or a 0? Now you can just, if you know their real name because you know him in person or you talk to him at work, like, oh, I can't remember what he said his gamer tag was, I'll just pop his name in, bam, there he is, Adam. So, it's got some cool features that could be used. There was another big one. What was it in this June update? Was there one more? I thought there was
Smart glass.
Okay, who knows more about that one? Because I don't know enough about that one to even talk about it.
In the Smart Glass app, you can now rearrange your pins using the Smart Glass app on screen. So all of your pins for your games and your apps that you have on the Xbox One can be rearranged however you want them to be arranged. Your feed is now directly in Smart Glass. So all of that information, it shows the last thing that you did, the last thing that your friends did, will now show up in Smart Glass, and you can, view it and click on and manage it from there. They made some updates to the One Guide. I don't know specifically what they did to One Guide because I don't use it a lot. So I kind of just glanced over, but there were some more updates in the One Guide side of the Smart Glass app as well. And they changed the marketplace a little bit. Like the search bar that used to be there is no longer there. You kind of just go right in and search in each separate tile, like games, apps, movies, TV. You search inside of those individual places instead of having the search bar separate. I know those were some of the bigger changes in Smart Glass.
I think they added DVR control from your Smart Glass as well.
Yes, and that's for some of the regions that didn't have it yet, because most of the North American region, most of North America had it, but some of the other regions that didn't, like Canada and some of the UK, I think, it got added in this time.
Yeah.
Alright. Anything else about the June update? I know it just dropped on us like last night and today, so I don't think any of us have had a whole lot of time to mess with it too much. So.
No.
My hard drive is 3 days away from Amazon. I'm waiting.
I'm formatting as we speak.
I don't actually have the update. I'm not going to get it.
I do know Mr. Z had some thought on it because he has his done and installed. There are some language wording issues. That's in the English. So things aren't as clear as they should be, but he presumes, along with everyone else that he's talked to on some forums, the Xbox, main Xbox forums on their site, that it will be changed, once this thing gets out of beta. But, if wording's the worst thing that they messed up, oh well.
Alright. Next bit of thing, I think Landshark has this one. You want to talk about this one, the Powerstar? Landshark?
Oh, sure. I think some of you guys... Hold on a second. You guys hear the beeping in the background?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
My wife is cooking.
I was just about to say,
You
is
mean
someone burning down the
house
house,
down?
Landshark?
Okay, anyway. So I haven't played... I just played the... I downloaded Powerstar Golf and it went free to play. I haven't played it before that. I think some of you guys have played it more than me, maybe. I don't know. But I liked it. I knew it was good. If people say it was pretty good, I downloaded and played it. I was really impressed with it. So I played it probably not more than maybe an hour and a half total, but I'm enjoying every moment of it. And ironically, last weekend when I was in Palm Springs, I actually played golf while I was down there a couple times. So
Nice.
it was kind of funny to come home and play some Powerstar Golf on the Xbox afterward. It's not a realistic game, though.
Golf?
Yeah, I played actual golf, yes.
Well, are you any good at it?
Oh, am I any good at it? I'm decent at it.
Okay.
My wife says I'm good at it. I mean, Powerstar Golf is not realistic golf. It's like a... It reminded me a little bit of...
Arcadey.
Yeah, it's arcadey. It reminded me more of like Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, actually. We unlock the packs. You get points when you're playing, and then you unlock the packs that have like clubs and stuff and whatever else. But
Right.
it looks pretty fun. I haven't spent any money on it yet, and there's quite a bit to play, actually. The more you play, the more you unlock and stuff, so... I don't know. Totally worth it. It's free to play. So...
Yeah. I did download it also when it went free to play.
Oops.
Saw the message on our forums and was like, oh, cool, another free thing to try. It's really limited. You don't get achievements. You don't get... you don't really have full courses. I think you want to get 5 or 6 holes to play on, try out. Now you can still unlock the packs. You can still earn, everything. And you only have one golfer and one caddy, and you can't get your friends' caddies. Now, as soon as you buy at least one course, the achievements unlock. And all your previous achievements you've gotten add right on. And any other achievements you want there. Sorry.
I know.
But I ended up buying one of the courses, the first one, and I don't know, I might end up buying the whole game. I mean, it's not something to put serious time into, but it's something that's fun. It reminds me of old Tiger Woods, 2005, 2007. But of course, more arcadey, more colorful, more pretty, bright and sunny kind of deal. But it was a lot of
I didn't
fun.
know that about the
I'll probably end
achievements
up
and
buying
stuff. I may have to go ahead and buy like one of the packs just to unlock the achievement stuff. Get those.
Yeah. And once you buy one of the courses, it discounts the full pack. I think $3 per pack. Even though you're buying a $5 course, with the caddy and the golfer that goes with it, it discounts the pack, the full price pack, $3. It's not the full price, but
What's the full pack
at least
price?
it does discount. 15.
Yeah, that's probably why, because the if you buy them all individually, it would be 25. So they can't discount it $5 because you could buy 3 packs and somehow get the whole thing for free. So I think they just prorate it basically. So you've bought basically a fifth of the game or whatever. So it takes a fifth of the price off.
Now I do know when the game came out, it was originally $20. So
yeah, that's what I paid for.
Still a great deal.
Yeah, it was a good $20 game. I paid for it launch night just to have one more game to play that was smaller, and it was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a fun one. Multiple people have said the more you play it, the more you get into it, because as you level up your caddy and your golfer with better clubs and everything, it becomes even more fun. And it's got a pretty neat. Maybe you touched on this. I had to walk away for a second, but it's got a pretty neat like competitive system with. It's not drivatars. They're not AI, but it actually pulls your friends' longest shots and everything, and it'll tell you if you've beaten them, and you get extra points every time you beat a friend, stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
on a
yeah,
shot
it definitely adds
basis,
that little competitive element in that just makes you want to play it a little bit further without making you feel frustrated.
Well, real life golf is that way too. You play with friends, and it's like you try to outdo your buddy or whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
I just try not to lose my shit when I play golf, so that's a challenge in itself.
You're one of those golfers.
Golf is not my game, so I get very angry when I play golf.
We used to go golfing casually with my buddies and get drunk and go out and whack a couple balls. I mean, that's the only way to play it. Well,
phrasing.
Yeah.
He got really drunk, but still.
Nothing wrong with MW getting drunk with his boys and whacking balls.
Oh,
All right. That seems like a good enough place to end that Powerstar golf discussion.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
next topic.
WatchDogs comes out on Monday or tomorrow night. Tuesday, technically. So I think most of us here are getting it, or at least leaning towards it, if not waiting for a couple gameplay videos and reviews. I'm getting it. Who isn't for sure getting it yet? Is there anyone in this podcast that's not getting it, or isn't sure yet?
I'll have it Tuesday.
That wasn't even English.
1201.
Yeah, 1201.
I think MW was the only one that will watch and wait.
Was on the fence. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So since most of us are getting it, what do you guys think so far? There's actually been a lot of media that's come out, partially because apparently Street Date's been broken all over the place for this game.
Yes.
And granted, I don't think it has a day one
right
patch. It if there is a day one patch, there could still be. A lot of people are complaining about performance hiccups and stuff. It's not out yet technically, so I always have trouble taking those very seriously. If I have the issues when it's out, then that's a different story. But the game's technically not out, so come Monday night, that'll be a different story. It seems to be people seem to like it so far, right? I mean, the people who have had some early access.
I've watched a couple of people play it. I only watched like 3 to 5 minutes because I don't want to lose the new. You know how you get inundated with videos and previews and crap on games, and by the time you sit down to play it, you think you've already played it. So didn't want it to be that way. But from what I've seen, I think I'm going to enjoy it. It's one of those games where you're going to have to get used to a new mechanic, like the hacking mechanic, from the little snippets that I've seen. Like you can really, like on the fly moving, you go from shooting someone with a gun to hacking a camera and making a forklift move and then hopping over something and then shooting someone else and then going back to your phone. So there's a lot going on. I think a lot more going on than most people realize, because maybe they're just watching, or they pick up on someone that's just driving a car and they're like, oh, it's just Grand Theft Auto again. So, you have to be careful with those kind of assessments, because you don't know where they're at in the game. How do you know it's not a tutorial on how to drive a car. So it's just one of those things where you kind of got to be careful what videos you watch because you never know where someone is in the game. But I'm excited. I've been excited for it, and I can't wait for Monday night. I'll stream it, as a matter of fact, too. So.
Yep, me too. Now the visuals, I didn't approach this game or want to buy it because of the visuals, but the nighttime visuals look crazy good to me.
Yeah.
From what I've seen.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
It just look really good.
Yeah.
The sound impressed me. From what little I did watch, like the gunfire was really, really good. And just some of the ambience of the city and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
So we'll obviously be giving our impressions next week on that one, since it's the biggest release of this month, at least, right?
Yep.
And probably the biggest release for a while now. We'd slide into the end of this one. So next week, I think the only game coming out for a while that even remotely interests me is Murdered Soul Suspect, which I believe comes out the following week.
June 3rd, yes, sir.
Yeah. So, is anyone even considering that one at this point, or is it just depend on WatchDogs for everyone?
I'm getting it. I'm going to get it through GameFly.
Okay.
Yep.
So, beyond that, it's going to be a quiet few months.
I mean, it looked interesting, but we'll have to see a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have
my
time
wife
to
will really like it. She kind of likes stuff like that.
Yeah. It definitely looks different, the Murdered Soul Suspect. So, anything else on WatchDogs? It's not out yet. None of us have played it, so we don't have too much to say, other than we'll have a lot to say next week.
Looking forward to playing with you guys, especially the multiplayer. Some of the hacking multiplayer team stuff looks like fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully it actually is fun and not just seems fun until you play it.
Yeah.
And then it feels tacked on, which is my biggest worry about the multiplayer. Granted, I'm not buying it for the multiplayer, but...
yeah, neither am I.
Except
for the hacking other single-player games, which I think sounds pretty cool.
Until someone does it to you constantly. I hope they have some limitations and stuff, or you can block it if you don't want to mess around with that stuff. I could see that being really annoying, and I don't want someone to troll my single-player game constantly. So I hope they give you some control over that, because that could really piss me off. You can or can't?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yep. You definitely
I read something where if you turn it... I forget exactly the details, but if you turn it off, you don't get the bonuses that you get. Some kind of weird thing you don't get if you turn that thing off.
That was a really early build, though, like from a couple weeks ago. So I think they even pointed out they're not sure if that's how it'll actually work in the end or not. So I've read the same thing you did, I believe. So unless it's been confirmed.
I didn't see it confirmed. I wasn't sure.
Okay. Well, we'll find out in a couple days.
Yep. 24 hours or so.
Yep. That's why I'm kind of waiting. I want to see what happens to that day one patch.
Well, speaking of stuff that's in and out of games, CD Projekt Red announced a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago, might have been a week, it's been a lot of news, that there would be no exclusive content for any platform for The Witcher 3, which means that the game that you get on PC and PS4 and Xbox One will have all the same content. And we know nowadays that one of the biggest cash cows for games or game stores or whoever's selling the game is, GameStop has the exclusive skin and Best Buy has the exclusive gun and Target has the exclusive keychain or whatever. That's the promotion side of video games recently. So what do you guys think about exclusive content for The Witcher and other games? Does it make a difference to you? Do you like it? Do you not like it?
They said non-exclusive content per system. They did not mention pre-orders. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be software or it's going to be, skins or whatever. But I do remember when The Witcher 2 came out, at GameStop you got a pendant. A little keychain that spun around. It had Witcher logo on it.
Well,
it was the Iron Wolf.
Yep. Yeah,
So they've never talked about physical items as a pre-order bonus.
well, they didn't even say
I mean,
anything about
actually,
retailers, did they?
Yeah,
Right.
I kind of use that as an example of what exclusive, but in this case, we're just talking about things that you get in game, like let's say an outfit in game, or 60 minutes of gameplay only on this particular platform that you can't get till 6 months later on the other platform, that kind of thing. They said that won't be there. Would you want it there? Would you want your console of choice or your platform? If you were a PC gamer, would you want your platform to have something other than another?
Yeah, I think everyone would want to have the best version or the most content, but does it detract from the game? Not necessarily. It kind of annoys me when they do that. It's it's all money related, of course. If someone wants to pay a big chunk of money to have exclusive content, then I guess that's your right to do so, whether you're Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo, whoever's getting it. I think it does a disservice to the gamers in general, though, to do that.
Oh yeah.
Even when I was really into Call of Duty, did I like the fact that I was getting stuff before the PS4? Not necessarily. I liked the fact that I was getting it the day it was ready, but it didn't make me any happier that I was getting it before, people that I knew who had PS3. So, that DLC exclusivity and stuff like that. So, it's not, to me, that stuff's never something to trumpet. Well, we have 1 extra hour. Well, 1 extra hour when you're talking about a game that's going to take 90 hours to beat, to do everything or whatever it's going to be. Okay, enjoy your extra hour of gameplay, I guess. But that's my thoughts on it.
The only time I think it's okay is when both systems get something out of it. Like, I'm talking let's go back to Soul Calibur 2, where they included the characters for each system. I mean, they had Spawn for Xbox, they had Hayachi for PlayStation 2, I think it was, and then they had Link for GameCube.
On the GameCube. And that made sense.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine to me. What I don't like is when they do something, let's do another fighting game with, Mortal Kombat. Hey, Kratos is going on to PS3 edition, but Xbox gets nothing. That's stuff that pisses me off, when they're not fair about what they're doing.
Yeah. As long...
Master Chief.
Yeah.
Wait, that was Dead or Alive, my bad.
Yeah.
As long as it does not change the storyline of the game that you're talking about, it's fine. Like, you can add content to this version and not add it to the other version as long as it does not affect the main storyline. If it affects the main storyline, or if you're missing story because that content that you put on one platform isn't on another platform, then it's ridiculous. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. So as long as it's not story change, like a fighting game, it's not going to change, if there's a story to your fighting game, it's not going to change the story to your fighting game all that much. But you're talking about an RPG or an action-adventure game, or let's say Assassin's Creed had 2 additional hours of content that were directly tied into the story that was on one system and not on the other, then that's a disservice to everybody buying the game, because that's not... It shouldn't happen.
I'm definitely with average on that. I mean, the grass is always greener, on the other side, and it might seem like, oh yeah, we get this exclusive content and now we should be happier as a gamer, but you're always pissed off when you're on the other side of that field, looking down at your brown grass going, well, this sucks, and I'd rather just not have that content. I mean, if you can't give it to everybody at the same time, you're just hurting your fan base. Maybe they won't buy your next game. Maybe they'll write you an angry letter or threaten your family like the internet tends to love to do. And I don't think that's very nice. Make the full game, put every bit of content into it as you can, and then work on your expansion packs. Good luck.
I think CD Projekt Red has a bit of a reputation to keep up to. Kind of being like the neutral developer. So.
Oh, but remember, they're big Microsoft guys. They only made it for the Witcher 2 for the 360.
I don't mean like console neutral, but I mean they're more for the gamer type people. No DRM and
they're definitely
all
one of
stuff.
the big developers that are very neutral, very anti-DRM, very you buy this game, all the expansions come free kind of guys, and they definitely should get an applause for that because not a lot of people are doing that anymore. I like that style. We bought your game. If you want to give us free stuff, that's cool.
Yeah. Anything else on that? No.
Nope.
All right, now you can go ahead, Colonel.
Oh yeah, Batman. It had I think a lot of new screenshots and a new trailer, I believe. I don't know. That game looks graphically pretty impressive. Will it be the best visual game we've seen so far? My opinion, maybe. But we have a lot of things coming out this year, so we really can't put that on it. But what are your opinions?
From a non-Batman loving individual, just basing purely on the screenshots and trailers that I've seen, assuming that it's not all BS and doctored up, I think as far as what we've seen, and I don't know, maybe some of these other games we haven't seen, and I haven't, maybe Sunset Overdrive will look even better when I actually get it on my TV. I don't know. But as of right now, that's the most impressive looking game I've seen shown.
Would you say best? Yeah, shown, I should say.
Yeah.
Presented or whatever.
Yep. Now, when Witcher 3 comes out next year, when some of these other games that are coming, obviously the Division's pushed back till whenever. Some of those other games come out, sure, it's probably not going to stand the test of time. But as of right now, I think it looks pretty damn impressive visually. Too bad it's Batman. Otherwise, I might actually get it. So maybe I still will end up getting it, but I've yet to play any of the Batman games. So you guys can hate me for it if you want, but
Because you suck. No, I'm just saying. It's clearly because you suck.
I haven't played any of them either, except for the demos.
You suck too. Well, you both suck.
I know that aiming wrong sits upon a principle of I hate Batman, so I'm not gonna play your game. I don't care how good it is. That's back from role playing. I think it's Marvel, and it's a personal preference. You don't like Batman, you don't. It's nothing to get hurt over.
No.
I disagree. I want to hurt them.
Christopher Nolan and the hype train ruined Batman forever for me. Not to say that he didn't make good movies, but I got so effing sick of hearing about him that I just kind of was like, I didn't love Batman to begin with as a character, and now it just really irritates me every time I hear anything about Batman. So.
Batman.
Yeah.
Batman.
That's fine. I just tune you guys out, so that part doesn't bother me.
Justice.
I'm the hero this city needs.
The
The one they deserve.
Christian Bale and his
Where is he?
ongoing battle with throat cancer. If you watch the Honest trailer for, I think it was the second one. God, that was a great Honest trailer. Honest trailers are amazing, by the way. YouTube them, subscribe. Those are amazing.
Tobuscus?
No, that's not him. This is like Cinema Sins
okay.
or something like that. So yeah, just Google Honest trailers and they're hilarious. And that one in particular cracked me up because I've always been annoyed by his voice in that movie. So, anyways, completely off topic from the game, but
Looks good.
yeah. That's it. No one wants to talk more about Arkham Knight.
No, I could talk about it all night. I just don't want to annoy you with my Batman.
Yeah, once E3 comes, I'm on media blackout for Batman, so.
Alright.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to worry about me spoiling anything for you. So, next bit. Rare, I think it was Monday last week. Word got out that the 15 to 20 people were let go. From, obviously, that's Rare Limited or whatever their studio name is. we don't know everything behind it. We don't know the number of people exactly. I've heard any estimates from 15 all the way up to 20 people. They were higher up people, not senior managers or anything like that, but they were people who have been in the industry a long time, and some of them have even been with Rare for 15 plus years, I think, since like Rare was Rare. Don't know what the deal was. I don't know if it was a cost-cutting move. I don't know if they're just... I've seen some articles talking both ways, that it was, simply because Kinect Sports Rivals sold miserably, according to some of these articles, and I don't necessarily not believe it. I don't think KSR sold nearly as well as they were hoping it was going to.
No.
I think they want to change focus, is another opinion that I've seen out there from a couple different things, is they want to reinvent Rare a little bit and try to change their focus a little bit from, I don't know. So we'll have to see. I'm sure we'll hear more about what Rare is going to do at E3, because as far as we know, we don't know what the hell they're doing, right? Does anyone know?
Absolutely no idea.
Yeah, because
They haven't
KSR,
said. Yeah.
KSR came out, and I don't know if they're doing just some extra content for that game, or if... I have no idea. I don't think they have any other known projects in development yet. So, I don't know. Not much to say on that. I probably could have gone in the quick hitter topics. I don't know what I was thinking when I put the list together. So.
Well, I mean, we've always, I'm sure a bunch of us have seen the discussion. What happened to Rare years ago. Microsoft came in, bought them from Nintendo, and the rumors were most of their major talent left. The guys that made these great games.
Obviously not all of them.
Everyone loved.
Since they just let some guys go who were there for 15 years.
Right.
So.
I mean, but when a lot of your talent leaves, kind of like Infinity Ward, when a lot of their talent left, you don't know who was the most talented. You don't know what their main roles were. You're never gonna know. But the rumors were a lot of the main talent left, that crippled the studio down to, what we've been experiencing with them since they've been bought by Microsoft.
That's where I'll disagree with you. I think they've put out quite a few good games, so I have to disagree on that, because Perfect Dark Zero for a launch game was great. Viva Pinata 1 and 2 were great.
Yeah, but nothing that was as fantastic as when they worked for Nintendo. Sure,
they didn't
really good games, but nothing fantastic. No Donkey Kong, no Killer Instinct, no
Excuse me, I don't want to bump in here, but didn't they remake Conker's Bad Fur Day for Xbox? Done and signed.
Didn't they remake it? It was an Xbox game.
No, it wasn't. It was a remake.
I don't think it was a remake. You're talking about Bad Fur Day or whatever it was?
Yeah, that was a remake.
Was it a remake or a sequel?
I'm pretty sure it was a remake. It was originally on N64, then they remade it, redid the graphics, and added multiplayer to an Xbox version.
I guess. I mean...
That was the
I haven't played it, so...
in my opinion, but...
I mean,
I was not thinking
that's your opinion. I haven't played it, so I couldn't tell you.
What? You've never played that game? Someone with your personality has not played that game. That's surprising. No offense.
Some taken? But no, I just don't think they are as talented as they were. Sure, they do good stuff. I love Kinect Sports. I got it for free. I love that they made all the avatar items for us, and sure, a lot of their stuff is great, but I'm waiting for the day that they return to their great works, their library of games that they supposedly brought over with them from Nintendo.
It sounds like you're more disappointed in their choice of games than their actual games, because if you play their games on an individual basis, and you may not like their style, not everyone likes Viva Pinata.
I liked every single one of their Nintendo games.
No, I'm not talking about the Nintendo. I'm talking about since Microsoft bought them. Only. I'm not talking about the Nintendo games. Okay. Their games that they've come out with, and I'm excluding Kinect Sports Rivals, Viva Pinata 1 and 2.
Didn't like them.
You don't have to like them. I'm not saying if you
I
like
did
them
like
or not.
those. I did like those games.
Perfect Dark Zero
Eh,
is a launch game.
right.
Cameo, Elements of Power, another launch game.
Ugh.
Played it.
I thought that game was good.
Yeah.
That game was awesome.
Yeah, Cameo was a good game. I'm sorry. They also did Nuts and Bolts, which maybe
Terrible.
it's not a platformer. I see. That's where I disagree with you. You're thinking of it as a normal Banjo game. Coming from
No.
someone who didn't play them, Nuts and Bolts was awesome to me. I loved that game.
No, I played the original Banjos, and I wasn't expecting Banjo-Kazooie out of this. I read everything on it, but to me, it was terrible.
That's fine. It's a matter of opinion. What I'm saying is not everyone thinks that Rare it went into the tank. That's my point. So I personally think they've made lots of good games since Microsoft bought them. Microsoft didn't kill them. What I'm trying to say is I think their talent is still there. They just need to pick the right franchise to bring some of their old fans back.
I don't disagree with you. I'm sure a lot of people like their games, but I agree on MW's side of it. In my opinion, they didn't make anything that great on that Microsoft system. But
Right.
I guess you
not
could agree
since
that
Nintendo.
Yeah, we're definitely not bashing them. We're not saying they're complete and total. They should go back to making Avatar and Kinect only stuff forever because they're not talented enough to make a good game.
Well, they should make.
I'm just
platformers
saying
and-
that I wish for more out of them.
They
I
don't make
want
many-
to see more
Go
games.
ahead, Landshark.
I mean,
You haven't said anything yet.
yeah.
No, I was just gonna say they don't. Just kind of reinforce both sides. They haven't made any really popular games in a long time. Like not even Cameo or any of the what the heck, Viva Pinata was great games, but they weren't
Oh,
like
yeah.
popular. So
But
Look-
those 4 or 5 games you listed, that's all they've done. When they worked at Nintendo, they pumped out a game or two a year. They were such a large studio,
Yeah,
and they had such a nice backing to them.
everyone
and
put
they-
out a game or two a year in those days because it was easier to develop for.
Do you remember Donkey Kong? Really? That level of technology on the Super Nintendo? No, that was not easy to make.
Easier in relative
No.
terms is what I said. Compared to current gen.
Okay, I guess I'll give you that. Sure. But I mean, I want to see them have all of their stuff. I want to see Microsoft give them a little bit more backing. Maybe with some of the guys they bought up that left, Sony and what was the other studio that went? Maybe they're going to go over there and work with Rare and reinforce that team and make them stronger again. Maybe we'll see all those games and franchises that we haven't seen for a while. Maybe we'll see another Perfect Dark or another Conquer or a Banjo-Kazooie something. But I hope they do have something to show this year, if not next year. That'll just be, oh wow, how did I ever doubt you that Rare was not a great, developer again.
To me, it's like they're not focusing on what they exceeded at in Nintendo, and that's what disappoints me. I'm not a big fan of Vivi Pinata. Yeah, it was cool to look at. I played maybe a couple hours of it, but a garden with pinatas, that's not what I want to play. I want to play what made me love Rare. Donkey Kong Country 64, the platformers, the characters, the colorfulness, all of that. That's what they exceeded at, was platformers and creating characters. But
Right.
they're not focusing anything on story anymore. They're doing like Connect Sports, Vivi Pinata, or whatever the hell called. Like I said, the only game I really liked by Rare, since it went to Microsoft, was a remake of a Nintendo game. And to me, that says a lot.
Alright. We're moving on.
Channel wins.
Yeah.
And you said we would have no debates.
Well, I don't. The thing that you guys are doing that I really don't like is you guys are taking games that you just didn't like because of the game and applying it to their talent level, which annoys me because I hate the God of War games. I don't think they're very fun, but I get why people like them, and I really think they're actually a good developer.
I never
no,
said
no,
that
no,
it's
no.
not good to like Vivi Pinata. I just said
No,
for-
but you're saying
like
that
it.
you don't, because you didn't like their games. You're basically saying that their talent's gone and they just haven't. They don't have it anymore. Is basically what I'm
No.
getting out of the way you're saying it. So
I said they're not focusing on what in my opinion, they need to focus on. It has nothing to do with talent.
Yeah. Well,
All right,
you
well,
gotta,
we're not going to agree.
You got to
I think
have
we're
a
just gonna
colorful
disagree.
studio to back your Kinect, and I understand why Microsoft did it, though.
The thing is, we don't know if Microsoft made them do it. For all we know, these guys could have been fired because they're the ones who wanted to develop for Kinect. We have no idea if Microsoft told them that they had to or if they did it. According to Phil, they've had control over a lot of their IP for a long time. So they could have chosen to make some of these games that didn't go over well publicly. So we'll never know.
It puts them more in a spotlight, though, right? Making Kinect games puts them in a pretty big spotlight.
Yeah.
So,
So we'll hear more from Rare at E3 for sure, though. There's no doubt about that, because...
Please, Banjo-Kazooie 3.
I hope not. I don't like platformers, so...
Please,
I could live without another
Banjo-Kazooie 3.
Banjo game.
I'll take it.
I would rather see a Perfect Dark game that's a legitimate Perfect Dark game. So...
Well, I like Perfect Dark. I just didn't like... Well, I didn't hate Perfect Dark Zero. I'm not going to say that it was a bad game. I just... I like the old one a lot. And this one didn't really live up to it for me.
Okay, I guess that brings it to me. Switching topics pretty much entirely. During podcast 2, we talked about the financials for, I think, both Sony and Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I did kind of we didn't get to finish up my Microsoft's financials, so we're taking this a little bit out of context now. But I wanted just to quickly talk about this is a quarter 3 2014 financial report for Microsoft. Their Q4, I believe, ends in June as their fiscal year. So we talked a little about which companies are making money and which aren't making money, blah, blah, blah. And we all know that Microsoft is good at making money. So their Q3 earnings report, they made $5.66 billion income on that's on $20.4 billion in revenue. And that is awesome for them. And it's significant because while it is down from the previous quarter, it's actually up from last year and the year before, from the same time frame. So I believe I'm reading that right.
Yeah.
Or close. I guess last year was higher, but the year before that was much lower. So anyway, they're making billions and billions and billions of dollars every quarter.
How did their gaming division do specifically? Do you have those numbers?
I don't have it in front of me. I don't know if they really... I guess I can say
they usually lump their gaming division in with
like
all of their entertainment.
Like it's kind of like the services and devices and...
Yeah.
Like the Surface apparently... I guess I don't have income revenue. I just have revenue numbers and stuff. Nothing that's really worth mentioning. So that is something that I probably should have found out before I talked about it.
If you give me 2 seconds, I put them all together someplace down at the bottom in our form.
Oh yeah. But just I don't know. Just as a company that did really well. Let's just say there for the server and cloud stuff, which is the Azure, they actually increased revenue by 7%, which is really good. But yeah, they're not on track to lose any money anytime soon.
Yeah.
Not even close anytime soon.
Yeah.
So.
And for anyone who thinks that a company's, financial stability or lack of stability matters to their gaming division, if you don't think that matters, then you're dead wrong. If you don't think Sony's financial troubles is going to eventually affect the games division, you're wrong. It will affect it.
No.
It will eventually come around, and it will affect it in a negative way. Right now, it hasn't because they're riding high on a lot of good press and that's selling well. But even with that, I believe Sony's gaming division still didn't sell or turn a profit. They lost money, I believe. Not a ton of money, but they did lose money. They didn't even break even. That's their, what is it called? Their games and entertainment division or whatever it is. Yeah, even with PS4 completely outpacing what they I think intended it to sell.
Yep.
They're still not turning profits. So anyone who thinks that it matters. Microsoft having money and making money does matter because they're more likely to invest back into it
and take more risks.
Try new things. Yeah.
So hopefully that they do that, and hopefully next podcast we're not talking about a spin-off or something. So we'll all eat our words. But Yeah, it's good news. Did you find those, or should we move on? MW.
Yeah. Their revenue, basically their income, they made. I think this is their June estimate numbers, which is really close to what they have. They're estimated to make $63 billion. That's the money they pull in. But the interesting thing is, out of that 63 million in profit, they're making 63 billion. But out of that profit, so you bring in money, you have to pay for your losses and everything. Out of that, their actual profit out of that 63 billion will be $44 billion.
Which is crazy.
Which is absurd. I mean,
that's 3 times the worth of Sony, I think.
Yeah.
Money.
This time next year, it
Nintendo.
might be 10 times worth it, the way Sony's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sony stock has been. I keep up on all stocks, and Sony stock is continuing to slowly drop.
Well, I mean, they have very limited time to turn things around, and that window is slowly closing upon them. And I hate to tell people, the PlayStation ain't gonna save them.
No.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
They could sell 100 million of them today, and make $1 billion profit. $1 billion ain't gonna save a company like that. It's just not.
They need to take the advice of most of the financial sector that's telling them to spin off the PlayStation business so that it can be profitable on its own.
Yep.
And leave it separate from Sony as a corporation. Like, that's the only way PlayStation... Like, if PlayStation was its own business, like Nintendo was its own business for gaming, PlayStation probably would be profitable right now. They may not be making billions, but they would be in the black. But as long as they're tied to Sony and they're selling off computers and they're selling off real estate, well, they're making money in insurance, but nothing else. Or real estate, whatever it is. It'll never be profitable unless they spin it off. And if they hold it too long, no one's going to take it.
Not at the price that they want.
Not at the price that they want. It's not going to be worth what it should be. Like right now, Sony should be sitting at a desk with their feet kicked up saying, throw money at me because you want PlayStation. If they wait till next year or the year after, they'll be on their knees. Can you take PlayStation from me?
I'll give you 2
buy it
nickels.
at the
Rubber band.
Right, because they can't sustain it. It's going to get to a point where they cannot sustain marketing, production. They won't be able to sustain it, especially with a junk credit rating.
Pay back their investors.
Right, you have a junk credit rating. How can you invest in marketing when you have a junk credit rating? No one's going to give you money to market. So
after their last financials, they were by the I think it was the UMC. I forget whose credit financials dropped them down to junk. I mean, that means run the hell away from that stock. Do not put money in it. You will lose it.
Yeah. Who knows? They could still come back. The way their electronics in general are going. Not their electronics, but electronics in general. It's becoming harder for these companies to turn profit with TVs and stuff. The margins just aren't there anymore.
Nice segue into our next topic, which is can we go ahead and start with that, I guess?
Which one's that? The PS4?
Yeah, it's PS4 again.
Yeah, go ahead and bring that
just
one
the PS4 call. I forget who said that. Who is it that said this? They said the PS4 is likely to exceed PS2 profits.
Yeah.
That was Kaz.
Was it profits or was it sales numbers? I thought it was sales numbers.
Well, here was his little.
Yeah, he said
money.
Bit.
He believes that it is likely the PlayStation 4 will become the platform that exceeds profits earned over the PlayStation 2. So they expect on the PlayStation 4 to make more money than they did with the PS2.
So I've got 2 things I wanted to mention real quick.
Go right ahead.
One of them's slightly off top. Well, it's on the Sony thing. We all know Sony sold their Square Enix stock, I believe. Is that right? about a
Yes.
month ago or two and a
Yeah,
half ago.
they're clearing the way for
quarter
Microsoft
of
to
its
buy it.
market cap value.
Yeah, like a third or quarter of the actual market value,
Mhm.
which is right before Square Enix released their above expected income reports. So their stock actually rose after they released their financial statements, which is right after Sony sold them. Kind of odd. I don't understand that.
Well,
Why
so,
Sony-
did Sony have the? They didn't have the. What you call it? They didn't sell. What was their percentage in Square, by the way? Obviously, they didn't have the majority. Does anyone know what percentage they had? Was it small?
it was just a nice chunk, and it tied in with pretty much their exclusivity rights. We'll buy a certain part of your stock, and then we will give you cash, and you will produce exclusive games and
But
content
they
for
didn't
us.
though.
It was
Really,
8.5%.
Square hasn't
But-
made a lot of exclusive stuff, and if they did,
But that stock was bought years and years and years ago when they still did around the PlayStation 2 era. Well, I don't know why they sold the stock. They never said, words were not exchanged. It didn't really come out to the public. The public just kind of noticed it,
It was weird.
and Sony never commented. But the strangest thing is, why sell it at a third to a quarter of its actual value?
Actually, right before the profit release.
Well, you gotta
didn't.
wonder,
You
were
have-
they desperate for cash, or were they expecting a very low profit margin and their stock value to drop?
I think it was a cash grab. Or
I
you can
think
go
it
with.
was too.
Yeah,
It was right before their quarter. It was right before they announced those numbers when they did that.
My conspiracy theory. I have one of those too on this one.
I do too. Probably the same one you're going to say.
Yeah, my thing is, I think, and this is purely something that I don't even necessarily want it to happen because I don't love every Square game, but think of this: what if Microsoft has been very public about wanting to not only build studios but also acquire studios to a certain degree if it makes sense to them. What if Microsoft is in talks of buying Square? Because yes, their quarter was better, but up until then, they haven't been doing the greatest. Square's been struggling.
Right.
Numbers-wise, what if Microsoft was in talks to acquire them?
Out.
And
That's what I was thinking too.
Sony caught word of it and said, "Oh shit, we can't have this stock," and basically sold it in part to get more money, and in part because obviously they don't want to have stock controlled by or in a company that's owned by their competitor. And they took
That's
whatever
one way
some
to make money.
And as far as taking a third, you have to have a buyer to sell stocks. Just because your stock is worth this doesn't mean someone's going to buy, millions of billions of dollars or whatever it is, millions of dollars worth of stock at that price because you're trying to sell a ridiculous amount of it. You're just going to take whatever you can get if you have to get rid of it. So, is my theory even plausible? Well, I guess it's plausible. Is it realistic? Probably not. But it would explain things. Just one of many hundreds of theories I could come up with.
I think it had to have been a cash grab. It was a quick sale. When you do a quick sale, you take about a third of the actual value of a stock. If you actually take time, find a buyer, and really plan that out, you can usually get 75 to 50% of the value of a stock. Sure, you have to find the right buyer who's interested, but if you take time, you can always find that buyer. This did not look like that at all. So I'm leaning more towards a cash grab with maybe hints of Microsoft buying them. Sure.
Or an exclusive game coming to Microsoft.
Oh.
My issue with the statement that PS4 is likely to exceed PS2 profits.
Right.
My issue with that statement is the last time I remember them talking about PlayStation 2 lifetime sales were somewhere at 155 million PlayStation 2 sold.
Yep.
Even at $99. And we know that the PlayStation 2 started off at $300 when it was released. Even at $99, that's a lot of money for PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 also had a much higher attach rate of peripherals and software than the PS4 is seeing right now. I know it's early for PS4, but early in the PlayStation 2, there was a lot more software attached to the PlayStation 2 than with the PlayStation 4. Sony has already said, and the if comes from me, that they are around in 5 years. They're already thinking about another PlayStation 4, or, PlayStation 5, or whatever you want to call it. You're already thinking about your next iteration of the PlayStation in 5 years. So are you telling me that you expect in 5 years your PlayStation 4 to be more profitable than something that sold 155 million units?
In 13 years.
Over a 13, 14-year span.
So I've been reading a ton of news in the stocks and business world about Sony and Microsoft and all kinds of companies. And I couldn't find the article to quote from right now. I was just looking for it again. But there was an article, I think it was on Forbes, that talked about just Sony as a company and how they constantly, at least the last several years, have been overselling their expectations in growth in whatever division they're talking about. And one of the examples given in the article was about how their smartphone business was, they boasted just with this month, I believe, that they're expecting a 30% growth in their smartphone business, which is currently on the decline. And they gave several examples of all these boasts of Sony trying to say, yeah, we're going to sell X percentage higher than before, blah blah blah. And one of the bigger ones that I thought stood out was that last October, November area, they were expecting an $800 million profit, and they ended up with a $1.3 billion loss. So it's like and I guess Sony, as far as the investors are concerned, Sony is notorious for, they're exaggerating, or whatever they.
They're using
Bushido.
And I think what we're seeing here, my opinion, is that just Sony being itself again. They're exaggerating again to try and get some kind of movement or interest in investors and stuff like that.
They're using the Enron method, and they're not good at it. Like Enron was good at fudging the numbers because no one knew how they came up with their numbers. They kept it secret. Sony releases the numbers so that you can look at them and go, that doesn't make sense, Sony, but they'll keep telling you that it will. Just wait till the numbers come out. And they do make sense from a loss perspective, just not what you were talking about.
So, just to not to touch too much on it, because I think we're getting pretty long here, but just going back to that, when they sold the Square stock, they are making roughly $47 million from their sale of the Square stock. And that's not a lot of money to Sony. I mean, it is, but when you're posting a loss of, $1 billion or whatever, $47 million is a drop in the bucket, which, it could be a cash grab, and it probably was, but it's also not a very big cash grab. I mean, I feel like they could have had something else that could have sold for a hell of a lot more than $47 million if they were just looking to...
Another building?
Who knows? But...
None left.
It could, it could just be like you said, a cash grab on top of, them just seeing the decline of Square basically until this recently. So, but anyways, Marcus, we're already getting a little long. Do we want to take on that last topic?
Nah, we can save that one for, it'll be probably a month before we
save
get
it until
bored
after
again.
E3 when we're actually
Let's do it really quick. I want to do it real brief because it might be fun to talk about now and then again after E3 to see what's going to happen this year. And this is a launch console, first year new console.
What do you mean what's going to happen this year?
Well, okay, so the topic, I'm going to break it, is the summer gaming drought, meaning most summers don't see a lot of game releases, or at least not AAA game releases, because everyone's busy doing stuff outside, not playing games. The short version of what I wanted to say was that could it be because we just got console releases, they're going to try and push more games this year than we would normally see in the summer, or higher percentage of games? I don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of games got stacked this year because of the cross-platform and trying to get stuff out so that they can focus on new consoles, and I think a lot of stuff fell prey to that this year. I think that's one of the reasons that in June you're going to get 3 games, in July you're going to get a couple, but August it's never started that early.
I wonder if we're going to see a lot more indie games this summer than we normally would.
I think Valiant Hearts in June.
Sure.
Kind of fill the gap.
And that's really the good time to release indie games like that, because a lot of people don't want to be sitting down, tied down to a 100+ hour RPG when it's sunny outside. Some people might. I know
here.
there's those people that
Right here.
Elder Scrolls
Close the
Online.
blinds.
I was
Hell
ready
yeah.
for it.
So was I.
They close the blinds and say, "What the hell is this sun thing?" I can now. Vitamin D, what's that? And sure, I've had that. I've had days where I'm just like, I don't want to go outside, but you know, the majority of people want to go outside. They want to have fun. They want to go camping, hiking, enjoy the warm weather. And indie games are a great place to have in the summertime because most of them are pretty short. Some of them are kind of repetitive, so you can come back to them at a later time. And indie and smaller games are really good things to have over the summer.
You
And
know
maybe your shorter games.
You know what else is really good to have in the summertime? Air conditioning and cold beer. Just
You
saying.
forgot bratwursts. I mean, come on.
I gotta go outside to grill them.
Barbecues.
I don't know.
I think we should. Go ahead, Joe.
I was like, this summer's drought, so to speak, in the summer is probably going to be a little more severe than, in the future, just because it's a new generation and just stuff isn't ready to come out.
Right. Well, we
So-
don't have this huge library from, stuff we didn't finish up during the winter, perhaps. So our library is a little shorter than it is every other year. Now, next summer we got a ton of stuff to catch up on. So we'll be fine. My wallet will still be crying into the summertime. And I'll have plenty of games to go back and play and enjoy.
So you never know. We could get some announcement or something like that at E3 of a game or two that are going to come out,
Yep.
this summer. But
That's why I wanted
we'll
to
see.
bring it up now, and we'll talk about it again after E3.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it'll be any big games. One that I'm hoping, and I don't know how close they are, but I would love to see Metro come out in July, because there's nothing in July that I want to play that I can think of right now, unless I'm missing something. But is there even a game releasing in July? Anyone? Does anyone know offhand?
I don't know.
No.
I can't think of one. So if they pop Metro in at hey, July 10th or whatever Tuesday is around there, that would be a really good one for me to go back and play through both of those. So,
Right.
here's hoping. But I have a feeling it's going to be more like October, November, where everything else freaking comes out. So,
Just throw it in there
Well-
October 7th. It's already stacked full. Frick it.
They're shoehorned.
do this.
They are absolutely shoehorned. You are releasing against 2 Activision games this year. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people are worried about, because Destiny is Activision, regardless of it being Bungie. It is an Activision game, and Call of Duty in November. So you either release right in between them or right next to them, and most people don't want to do that. So
there's only a few games that can take on the Call of Duty beast. One of them's Halo, and I can't even think of another one that can take them on sales-wise.
well, you know what?
You know,
I think Assassin's Creed is not that type of game, but they still do well releasing right after Call of Duty, just because they know, this is when we release. Like Ubisoft will say, we release our Assassin's Creed games in November. You're going to buy Call of Duty, you're going to buy Assassin's Creed too. It's going to be within a week of each other. Just get over it.
It helps that they're a little different too.
Right, that's what I'm
because
saying.
They have
So-
different styles.
And if you're going to do it, you have to have that confidence in your game, though. Like, you can't have no marketing campaign and then say, hey, you know what, we're releasing the same day as Call of Duty, by the way. It's not going to work. you have to have a marketing campaign to release.
Yeah, well, we'll probably talk more about the summer drought when we're in the summer drought. When we're all
I'm gonna have one
scraping
this
the
year,
bottom
bro.
of the barrel for stuff to talk about.
I don't think we're going to have one this year.
Well, we'll see. Like I said, July they need to pump something out in July, because as far as I know, July was supposed to be my month to play Elder Scrolls Online. Now I have no freaking clue what I'm going to be playing in July. There's just nothing there. So,
Sniper Elite releases July 1st for anyone that likes Sniper Elite.
still looking. And is that pretty much
Walking
it?
Dead Game of the Year Edition is supposed to release on July 31st. That's it, though.
Anyone
That's it
who
for
wants to
July.
play that one has pretty much already played it.
I haven't
I'll
played any
play
of them.
it.
Yeah.
I'll get
I,
it.
I might get that one.
But even so, The Walking Dead is each episode's what, an hour and a half to 2 hours? I mean, you're looking at, okay, you got a week's worth of gaming there.
Yeah.
Depending on how much you play, I guess, a day. So where's my big game that's going to last me, at least a month to play? There
It's
isn't
outside. It's called fireworks.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait on
Well,
E3. for that
The
one,
good
see
news
if it-
is this summer is
America.
amazing for movies. So if you're a movie guy or girl, this summer has a shit ton of movies coming out that look good. So pretty much every week from here on out, there's a big movie coming out. So I guess that can help fill the void if there's any stretches of no games.
Yep.
So, anyone else have much to say about any of our topics, or have anything else they want to throw on at the last second here?
No.
All right. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but definitely check out Av3rag3 put together a pretty sweet YouTube, I should say YouTube video. He put together a video. It's hosted on YouTube currently. You should definitely check out that. I will probably, with Average's permission, we'll toss it in the podcast thread as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I'll throw it in there. So you can watch it there. Otherwise, if you want to see it in a bigger screen, just go to YouTube, look for it there, or click it from our site.
It definitely makes us look better than we actually are in real life.
Yeah.
So we might actually have to plan a little more for the E3 podcast to live up to that production value. So
For what, the 10 minutes we have?
We need some
before
characters of each of us.
yeah.
Well, E3 will. I mean, it's what we've been waiting for. So.
Super Bowl!
Unless we're all really pissed off, in which case we won't even have a podcast. We'll take us week off.
I don't think we will be. I don't think you can be. I mean,
No.
you already know
so
what's
much
going
good
to be
stuff.
there. You know the Division's going to be there. You know the Witcher's going to be there. You know Batman's going to be there. You know Fable Legends is going to be there. You know Halo's going to be there.
Halo.
You can't be mad at E3 when you know stuff that you want to see is already there. All you can do is be excited or a little disappointed for the stuff that may not show up.
Yep.
That's it.
If you're really going in with that kind of attitude, oh, they got more games than we did, or oh, they didn't show the one game I wanted, like, maybe go see a therapist. I mean,
Yeah, you're missing
stop
out.
being so darn
Point
negative and enjoy what you got and enjoy what's there for you to look at. And be happy.
Let's
for
not
once.
get too much into E3 today, since most of our podcast, or a big chunk of it's going to be about E3 next week. So,
Yeah.
because that is our last podcast prior to E3, right? Next
Yep.
week. So, we'll be talking a lot about E3. Maybe we'll even bring up some of the past ones, the blunders. Maybe that's what we'll do. Is that's your homework assignment, everyone. Come up with your most favorite E3 moment ever from any. Just doesn't matter which company, and your least favorite or most annoying moment. And I can
My
already think of
body
one of them.
is ready.
Yeah. Don't spoil it yet. If you already know what it is, that's fine. But save it for next week. We'll make a little bit of a topic out of it, so we can, pat ourselves in the back about the cool ones, for remembering them basically from 10 years ago or whatever it is, and then laugh hysterically at some of the more, I can't even say it, so I already know what mine is. Hopefully not all of us have the same exact moment of disappointment and stupidity. So, I think that's it. We'll wrap it up here then. It's going to be a little bit of a long podcast, so.
A little bit.
Yeah, we talk too much, but what can you do?
It's all good. They're going to be longer for the next couple weeks, and then my guess is they'll shorten up a little bit when summer rolls around, as it gets into full swing when games are, E3 is over. Then we'll have TGS and some other stuff, but each week probably will be a little more like an hour to an hour and a half, I think, for a while. So, but until then, you can probably expect 2-hour-long podcasts. So you just have to listen to us
If you
talk.
don't like it too damn bad.
Yeah. So, all right. Anything else?
Yeah.
You good?
Nope, that's it.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have to listen to us straight. Pause the thing. Go to work. Do what you got to do. Have a life. Come back. We'll still be here. I promise.
Yeah. Let's not alienate our 5 listeners. So. We need each one of them. We can't lose them.
It's just each one of us clicking on it one time.
Is it a coincidence there's 5 of us?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we know there's at least a few people who listen to it because they comment on it. So.
There you go.
As long as someone's listening to it other than us, because I don't need to listen to it. I do. I listen to the entire thing from start to finish just to see what it sounds like and how we do. But Yeah. All right, everyone, have a good night and good holiday. If you're in the U.S., I don't think it's celebrated anywhere else, but happy Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah.
Eat good and be safe.
Go play some games.
Yeah, play games. So,
I'll be streaming something tomorrow if anybody wants to tune in. I don't know what yet, but there will be something streaming.
yeah, throw it up in that thread. I don't know if we're generating any traffic there, but it's there for a reason. So I've seen you put a few things up there. So,
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone, have a good night.
Right.
Thanks for
Have a good
listening.
night.